July 4th, a day we celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the greatest thesis on the proper rule of government known to man, and I hope to spend about 5 minutes in explaining the basics as to why. This document was primarily authored by Thomas Jefferson, and I hope to point out that it wasn't only a document of secession from the British government, from the tyrannical German king of England, but a declaration of principles to all of mankind on the reasoning behind any legitimate government. To read from the text itself, it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident," meaning they're natural to be understood. Anyone can understand them. "That all men are created equal. Not some men, not a few men, not certain men. All men are created equal." This idea of equal rights, that human rights are natural to every single individual. That fundamental rights are only those rights which everyone can simultaneously claim and or exercise without forcing any other individual to cater to serve their own needs, desires, or purposes. Right? That they are endowed by their Creator, right? They're endowed by God with certain unalienable rights. Okay? Unalienable. I've heard it rendered inalienable, and that's good, but not as correct as unalienable. Inalienable still clings to the maxim that the right can be transferred or surrendered with the consent of the individual, while unalienable says you're incapable of alienating it from yourself, that you have that right by virtue of your existence. It's not even like an item of clothing that you can put on or take off. It's a part of you. That among these, so not only these, not limited to these, but among these, are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right? I've heard people even wonder why Jefferson didn't just put in the Lockean statement of property or estate. But Jefferson wanted something more encompassing. You're not born with some sort of entitlement to property, but you are born with the right to acquire property, right, through honest means, right? Mixing of your labor, selling of your time. And so it's much more accurate. I love that phrase. That to secure these rights, that to protect these rights, governments are instituted among men. Okay, that's their purpose, is to protect these rights. These individuals we hire, in a sense, right, as government officials, these servants, their role is to protect your rights. That's it. Deriving their just powers. Keep that in mind. Individuals have rights. Governments do not have rights. Governments have powers. In deriving their just powers, not just any power, their just powers from the consent of the governed. And of course, to derive powers from the consent of the governed would have to assume that the consent of the governed had that power to be derived. In other words, you can't take something out of nothing. Right? That's a simple principle of logic. And if the individual themselves don't have that right, they can't give that power to a government. Right? So the proper function of government is limited only to those spheres of activity within which the individual citizen has the right to act. So I have a right to self-defense. Well, we can come together as a society and hire a sheriff. I didn't lose my right to self-defense by giving it to the sheriff. No, that's just to better secure my right to self-defense. Right? So the Declaration of Independence is the what and the why when it comes to rights. In other words, it's the lens, it's the compass, it's the glasses, if you will, through which we have to look at the Constitution to accurately understand it. The Constitution was the attempt at the how, the fulfilling a government in harmony with the principles of the Declaration of Independence. Right? That whenever any form of government, at any level, I would assert, any level, federal, state, county, local, any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles in organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Okay? And they go on to name this as a duty, as a civil duty. So I hope we can better understand this and better apply it and in our evaluation of our current situation. God bless.